Welcome to another episode of Life After High School. Today, man, we are on day 2, and I want to really dive into why your GPA really don't matter after high school. Okay, why doesn't it matter after high school? And I know, man, a lot of parents, a lot of educators, a lot of teachers, you hear about it, right? And you always hear them talk about your grades and they talk about your GPA. But let's be very clear, man. There's some other things that are more important. And the reason I say it's more important is because without certain things, you don't get the GPA, right? You do not get the GPA without doing other things. So if you have to do these other things in order to get the GPA, why wouldn't you make that your key focus? Why wouldn't you want to learn that, right? Do you want to learn how to cook, or do you want to learn to be the chef, right? If you want to learn how to cook, you're just going through the motions. But if you want to learn how to be a chef, that means you know the ingredients to make something. Not only the ingredients to make something, but how to heighten the flavor, right? How to heighten the taste, how to bring the taste palette alive. So you gotta cook, which you might find at like Denny's. You know what I'm saying? At Denny's, IHOP, you gotta cook. But then when you go to like a restaurant that's, a little above that, right? You go to like a steak 44. You might not know it. You might have to Google it, right? Ocean 44, right? A Dominic's. You start to get into chef mode. And what you notice is the cook can give you something to eat. The chef gives you something to talk about, right? Gives you a different experience on your taste buds. So think about this. When we're talking about learning, is it more important to get the grades from what you learned, or is it more important to truly understand and be able to dissect how you learned what you learned to achieve what you achieved, so now you can use this over and over and over again? I'll take that all day long, right? To just be able to cook, but I can't be consistent with it because I don't understand the recipe. I hope you get that, right? I hope you get it. But what I really want to jump into is I want to talk about the mindset, the growth mindset. Because in order for you to get that GPA, right, you have a mindset that allowed you to continuously grow for whatever the reasons were. My thing is, do you know how it happened? I want you to be intentional about your intentions. Okay? I hope that makes sense to you, man. I hope you get it. So let's jump into this, man, because a growth mindset is the belief that abilities and intelligence can be developed with effort, training, perseverance, and let's leave it right there. Because I want to stay on point, right? I was about to deviate, and I'm good for deviating because I caught a whole nother vision, right? But individuals with a growth mindset, they have some characteristics that follow them, right? So when I'm talking to somebody and I'm like, hey, I find myself talking to you more often, I want to make sure that you have a growth mindset. So there's some things I want to identify, right? So as you go through this school year, I want you to bring people into your life, bring people into your environment that have a growth mindset. If you have someone that don't have a growth mindset, they have a fixed mindset, it's going to create a battle with you, right? It's going to create an internal battle. Why? Why do that? So let's look at this, right? Number one, when we're talking about that growth mindset, you understand that effort is a pathway to mastery, right? A pathway to mastery. And what that means is if I'm putting in the efforts, right? Like, listen, I was a DNF student. I'm not telling you to be a DNF student, okay? But what I always did was put effort into trying to figure things out. Now, some people might have figured it out before me, right? But once I figured it out, you couldn't take it from me. Like, I owned it. I owned that. So as I'm going through high school, I learned that I'm not always going to be right. Things are not always going to go as planned. I'm going to have bumps in the middle of the road. I'm going to have bumps in the beginning, bumps at the end, all through it, right? It's not going to be perfect. But what I know is if I put the effort into overcoming each one of these hurdles, when they come, they're really not hurdles. They're lines in the sand that are easily removed. So when you understand that effort is the pathway, that means when you don't win the first time, second time, third, the 10th, right? When you're not winning and it's not going your way, you don't give up. It's the persistence that you have. So I want you to think every time you take a quiz in school, you take a test, you do an assignment, and you watch all the kids around you get the grades that you wish you had. You wish you got the A. You wish you got the B. So when you go home, you're not in trouble. So when you go home, you get praise for the grade that you got, right? Like you wish you had that. But understand this, I'm bringing home D's and I'm bringing home F's. So I'm going through what people would consider to be failing. But I went back to the drawing board. I tried to figure some things out. I went from a weak F to a strong F. You know what I'm saying? Like some people are like, yeah, what do you mean like a strong F? What's a strong F? It means I was like at the bottom. You know what I'm saying? Like I got a 30. I went from a 30 to a 55. Yo, that's a stronger F. And then when I went from the 55, I went to the 59. I ain't even get to the 60 to get into the D. I'm still at the 59. But for me, I'm looking at it like, oh, I came up. I'm looking at the growth side of it because I keep giving effort. When that F turned to a D, it turned me to a believer. You see what I mean? This is why I'm saying that effort is the pathway to mastery. Sometimes, man, we win. Don't take my word for it. Think about this. When you talk to a student, when you see that they don't get that grade or it doesn't go the way they want, they cry. Like they really feel defeated. They really feel broke down. What I want you to understand is it's okay. You know what I'm saying? It's okay that that's happening. It's not okay to stay there, but it's okay that it's happening. Okay? It's okay. You're not supposed to know what you don't know. But the problem is when things don't go the way you want, you pull back on the effort. Like, man, why am I going to put my time into this? It's not going to make a difference. That's a lie. Absolutely, it's going to make a difference. All right. So number one, I need you to understand that effort is the pathway to mastery. I don't care what the grade is up front. I don't care how much trouble you get into, right? Did you really put in the time? Can you say, I gave it my all? It didn't work the way I wanted, but I gave it my all. So through that process, you understand that even though I didn't win, I learned something. So when you go through and people are like, yo, that grade ain't the grade, you got to ask yourself like, yo, did I win? You know what I'm saying? Like, did I win? And when you say, did I win? You're really asking yourself, what did I learn? What did I learn that would make me better? Okay, let's go to number two. I want you to embrace challenges and view them as opportunities and not to grow, right? So watch this. Embrace the challenge and view them as opportunity to grow. So if you say, man, this is scary. I'm not sure if I can do this. Like, people are going to laugh at me, right? Real story. My spelling's terrible. There would be certain jobs when I was coming up that I'm like, I'm not going to apply for that. I'm going to have to spell something. And people are going to ask me like, hey, spell that. Hey, go to the board, write that. It's going to bring me back to school. Like when I'm in school, I don't want to go to the board. My spelling's terrible. So I would never apply for the job. Never. Why? Not because I don't think I could do it, but I think that there's going to be areas that I get embarrassed, right? I wasn't willing to embrace that part of the challenge. When I got to the point and I said humility comes before honor, that made it so easy for me, right? That's number one. When I realized that my strengths are just as important, right? My weaknesses are just as important as my strengths. I got more courage because now I'm able to show it with my strength. And it helped me to realize that, yo, my strengths are not everybody else's in the room strengths. So while I'm moving in my strength, I have to be able to embrace every challenge that comes and look at this opportunity as the opportunity for me to become more committed, right? Have more courage to stand by the commitment, learn my capabilities so that I can build the confidence in the room. So when I say, yo, these are the things that I could do, these come easy to me. I'm a monster. I'm a monster when it comes to this. You can't do what I do, and I can't do what you do. You do it better than me. I do that better than you. Therefore, are you better than me? Well, we equal. We all have strengths and weaknesses. That allowed me to be able to embrace every challenge and look at every opportunity as the opportunity to grow, okay? Number three, I want you to persist in the face of setbacks. And when I'm saying this, right, when I'm saying move forward when the setbacks come, right? And I want you to see them as learning opportunities. That's all a setback is a learning opportunity. I did something, and in the process of doing this, I got it 30% right, 70% wrong. Cool. I have 70% that I can go learn. So what if I only learn 3% this month? What if I only learn 5% this month? And then next month I get another 3. So now I'm consistently learning 2 to 3% more and getting 2 to 3% better every single day, every single week, every single month. You are not supposed to be like neck and neck with everybody all the time. Like, listen, we had this saying, man, when I was coming up, we all can't shine at the same time. Everybody cannot shine at the same time. We all have a time. We have time, right? We all have our time that we are going to shine. Don't think because somebody else is shining right now that you will never have the opportunity to shine. That's not true. You have to look at your setbacks. You have to take them face on. And you have to understand this is only an opportunity to learn. It's not about failing or not failing. It's about learning and not learning. You know what I'm saying? That's what it comes down to. All right. So number 4, I want you to see criticism as useful feedback. You know, one thing I know, when you surround yourself with people that you don't respect, when you surround yourself with people that you're just trying to fit in with, their feedback, when it comes to you, you take it as criticism because they've never been where you want to go. So you don't even embrace it as feedback. You don't respect the person that is talking to you. One of my coaches is younger than me, right? And when I'm talking to him, he be hitting me hard. Like when I'm talking about, he be hitting me, right? And he's like, yo, Pete, that ain't it. Like, where you get that? Like, what's that? And then he breaks it down. Boom. He's giving me feedback. If it was coming from somebody who I didn't respect, someone who I didn't appreciate, it's criticism. But because it's coming from somebody who I respect, somebody who's been there, somebody who's already walked this walk, it's not criticism, okay? It's constructive criticism, 2 different things. So number 4, I need you to see criticism as useful feedback. If you find yourself resisting the feedback or being defensive of the feedback you're getting, you got to start to look at your circle and realize you don't really respect the people that you're around. That's why you don't respect what they say. And you feel like they're just trying to hurt you, right? Number 5, find lessons and inspiration in the success of others. When I was coming up, I love football, right? I love football coming up, and I loved Walter Payton. Best running back to play the game, if you ask me. When I'm watching Walter Payton, and I'm watching how he runs, I'm watching how he plays the game, that was cool. That got my excitement, but what really got it for me, what really like had me going, is what did his trainings look like? Like, what was it like when he wasn't on the field? What was he doing before he got on the field? So many times, man, you want to pay attention to what people are currently doing, to what you can see, when really the real information is in what you can't see, okay? These are the things that allow you to have a growth mindset and keep it. So when you bring people into your life, you have to ask yourself, number 1, do they understand that effort is a pathway to mastery? Right? Number 2, do they embrace challenges and view them as opportunities to grow? Number 3, do they persist in the face of setbacks, right? And see learning opportunities in every setback, no matter what. 4, how do they use feedback? How do they embrace feedback? Do they always talk about, oh, they hating, oh, they this, or do they look to see, are they really telling them the truth, right? Are they finding lessons? Number 5, are they finding lessons and inspiration of success of others, right? Growth mindset. This means that every conversation y'all are in, it's progressing. You ever be in a conversation with someone and at the end of the conversation, you just hang up? You're in the same place you was before you had that conversation? One of the things, man, one of my friends said to me probably about 5 years back, he said, P, every time we get off the phone, before we hang up, I'm gonna ask you a question. And that question is going to be, what are you going to get done this week? Right? So we started talking at the beginning of every week. He said, and I want you to ask me the same question. So every time we're on the phone, we already know, like, number 1, what are you going to get done this week? And then when we talk on a daily basis, what did you do today to move that forward? So we're holding each other accountable, right? Growth mindset. These are the type of people you want in your life. Not the people to just say, hey, when we gonna go hang out? But like, what do you mean you ain't do your homework? Like, you ain't do your homework? I can't even hang with you. It's like hanging with somebody that's a deadbeat father. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, I don't want to be with you. Like, I'm not hanging with you. You know what I'm saying? Like, totally different. So on the other side of a growth mindset, you have what? A fixed mindset. Okay. These are the individuals where I'm looking, I'm like, whoa, I want to be around you. You're dangerous. Your mindset is fixed. Okay. So let's think about this. A fixed mindset is a belief that abilities and intelligence are traits that cannot be changed. So if you feel like things in your life, situations can't be changed, you're looking at it, you're going generations back. Like they was living like this, they was doing this one was doing that. Like, yo, this is just who we are. Like I'm supposed to be this way. I was talking to somebody, man, who's in the streets, and they're like, yo, man, my dad was there, his dad was there, my uncles, my cousin. Like, what else was I gonna do? I ain't had no choice but to grow up into this show. That's a lie. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a lie. Of course you had a choice. That's the fixed mindset. When people don't believe change can come, change don't come to them. Okay? Change don't come to them, so I don't want you in my life. So how do we go ahead and identify that, right, with others? And also, most importantly, how do we identify when we're falling into that, all right? Number one, you avoid challenges because the fear of failure. If you avoid taking on a challenge because you don't think it's going to work the way you want it to work, shame on you. Your mindset is fixed. Like, yo, listen, my life is set up for disaster. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just not going to get there. Like, nobody in my family made it. But when you think about it, how many times do you hear people say, man, I'm the first one in my family to graduate high school. I'm the first in my family to go to college. I'm the first in my family to graduate college. I'm the first in my family to be a millionaire. There's always a first. My question is it going to be you? Not if you have a fixed mindset, all right? Number two, you give up easy when you're faced with obstacles. You heard me say, man, an obstacle is nothing but a line that's drawn in the sand and easily removed. I don't care what you're facing, care what you're going through. The world been going on for a long time. I promise you, you're not the only one. I promise you, if you're the one who falls victim, right, to that, you're not the only one. If you're the one who pushes past it, you're not the only one. If you stay where you are the only one that has to live that life. You got to deal with that, okay? So you can't give up easily when you're faced with obstacles. I've been there, I've done it. I tell y'all all the time, man, like I wanted to be a cop, right? Since a little kid. I used to watch the cops come to my neighborhood. I used to watch them beat people up, take people's money. I was like, yeah, I'm going to be a cop, and that's never going to happen. Well, I was in an environment, you start talking about you're going to be a cop. Like, you're not high on the totem pole. Like, people ain't sitting over there moving that along. Like, yeah, let's do it, right? Like, they're not excited for that. So what happened? I fell victim to it. I got faced with the obstacle of the peer pressure from the people around me, from my environment. Like, oh, it's not going to be accepted. So I decided to let it go. So I let people that didn't move the needle in their own life to get the things they wanted, who backed up, who gave up every time it got hard. I let them like have real estate in my life. I let them live in my head rent free. They give up on themselves easily every single time an obstacle shows up. And that's the one I chose to listen to. Makes no sense, right? So when people come around me and I start to hear these things, right? These, what do they call it? Trigger words. I start to hear these trigger words, these trigger phrases, these trigger sentences. Like, oh, I'm out. Like immediately, you start saying, "Oh man, that got hard. Like, yeah, I ain't gonna do that, man. It might not." Before you can get it all out, yo, listen, man, I'm gonna talk to you later. It's over. I was already there, and there's times when I go there mentally, and I got to get out of it fast. I got to get out of it fast, and I got to keep showing up, keep showing up, keep showing up. Okay, so when you look at it like that, right? Let's get on, because I was about to go somewhere else, and I want to stay right here on these points. Okay, so number three, you see effort as fruitless, or as a sign of low intelligence. Think about that. You see effort as fruitless. So I'm not going to put my time. How many times you heard people say this? Don't take my word for it, okay? Don't take my word. I want you to look into your own life. How many times have you heard people say, man, I'm not going to put my effort into that, man, because if it don't work, then what? Man, I'm not gonna take the chance to do that, because if that don't work, then what? You start thinking about all the bad. But look at Amazon right now. Look at Amazon, right? And when you see Amazon, and you go back and you look at the pictures of Jeff Bezos in his garage, the little garage, right? And he's fulfilling orders. He's figuring out how to make it work. That's what nobody wanted to go through. Don't nobody want to go through that. That's painful. You're sitting in your garage. You probably ain't had no AC, no heat. So in the summertime, he's hot. In the wintertime, he's cold. But he's in there. Yo, Jeff Bezos took out Toys R Us. Jeff Bezos from his garage was competing with the big guys. And now look at Jeff Bezos. Look at Amazon now. When he was in that garage, ain't nobody think he would be where he is right now but him. And there was times where he probably doubted it too a little bit, right? But he never stopped. This is why the fixed mindset, it doesn't sit right with me. Okay? So when you see effort as being fruitless or as a sign of low intelligence, like, oh, you're foolish, man. Come on, man. You're never going to take out the big guys. Man, you're never going to be able to make that work. You can't walk down the street without seeing an Amazon package in front of somebody's door. These are the things I think about. He didn't have a fixed mindset. He had a growth mindset. I'm going to make this work. And then when I ever seen how he was using the putting the funnels together for the web page, right? He was putting it together, and they showed the process, the trial, the error, what worked, what didn't work. Most people would have been like, man, I'm not putting all that money into it. I promise you, he put a lot of money into it before it took off. He put a lot of money into it before it took off. And everybody would be like, yo, I'm not doing that. Listen, look at somebody like Cardi B. Cardi B had like, what she say, like 200, 300,000. And she was spending money. She got down to like the last $3,000 and then made a move, boom, and look at it now. Most people would have been like, man, I'm holding on to the 200,000. I'm holding that. I'm not just spending it. And then over time, right? Again, don't take my word for it. How many times has it happened to you? You try to hold on to some money and you end up spending a little bit here, a little bit here, a little bit here. Yo, put it into the vision, okay? Put it into the vision. Number 4, ignore or avoid feedback. When people be like, yo, I'm not going to tell nobody that because all they're going to say is this, or they're going to say is that. Man, I don't want to hear nothing they got to say. I'm just going to keep doing it my way. Yo, why are you ignoring and avoiding the feedback? Like, you need that. You need the feedback from the people around you that are doing things. You need the feedback from the customers, the good, the bad, the ugly. You need that, okay? Number 5, feel threatened by the success of others. When you hear people that be hating on people because they got a victory, like, oh, you got a victory, right? You got a victory, and because of your victory, you only got it because of this, or you're not really that good. I got one of my guys, man. One of my guys, he's good for that. He'd be like, yo, man, dude shouldn't even have that. He don't deserve it. Like, what you mean? He'd be like, yo, I do way more. Okay, cool. Then why don't you have it? I get away from people like that. I get away from them. It's not the most talented. It's not the smartest that wins. It's the one that keeps a growth mindset. And if you keep a growth mindset, you can pretty much have what you want. The question is, are you willing to go through what Jeff Bezos went through? Are you willing to sacrifice the bag the way Cardi B did? You see what I'm saying? I hear people all the time, man, I can't stand Cardi, this and that. Cool, I get it. It's not about if you like the music or not. It's about the process of getting there. It's about the process. People say, oh, she only made the money because she was doing this. Okay, cool. And she put it all into herself. So because you're afraid to do that, you want to knock somebody who does it? That's a fixed mindset. That's trash. That's trash. Okay? Listen, I hope you understand what I'm saying to you today. I really do, right? I hope you get it. I don't want you to just grab information and be an information hoarder. I want you to take the information. I want you to dissect the information, and I want you to figure out what part of it can you use right now. Right now, what part of it can you use? So I want you to go through the growth mindset. I want you to first identify these things within yourself. Stop looking outside of you at everybody else and pointing the finger. Oh, you, them. No, I want you to look at you. I want you to look at the person in the mirror and only the person in the mirror. And I want you to do the things that are necessary for you to develop that growth mindset. Once you start to do these things, once you start to understand effort is your pathway to mastery, once you go through these processes, once you embrace your challenges and know that it only leads to opportunities of growth, once you do that, now it will make it easier when you start to look around and you start to see people around you and you're like, oh, I used to be like that. That's what I look like from the outside. See, when you start fixing things on the inside and you start on the inside first, the stuff on the outside starts to highlight. And then you know, man, I had to overcome that. I don't want to let that back into my life, so I can't be around that. I'm gonna be around this because who you are right now is attracting the people and the environments that you're allowed to be in. You're only comfortable in environments that are disruptive because internally you're disruptive, right? I'm only telling you where I was living. That's it. I'm telling you where I was living, right? The high school dropout, could barely read, could barely write. I was on a 7th, 8th grade reading level when I left high school in the 11th grade. Like I struggled. I slept in my car. I slept in my car for an entire winter in Rhode Island, like snow outside. I was in the car with the transmission didn't work. I had to roll to the gas station, roll back. I had heat in the car, right? I'm jumping in the back like that's the bedroom. I'm jumping in the front like I'm up now. You see what I'm saying? But I can't drive nowhere. I'm putting all my stuff in the snow to keep it cold. I'm brushing my teeth with a bottle of water and a toothbrush and some toothpaste that I took out the glove box, using the mirror in the car. Like, listen, I'm only telling you what I know. At that point in my life, I was in a fixed mindset. I got nothing. I got nothing other than more pain, more aggravation, more stress, more frustration. I got nothing. The minute I started to look at what that environment was doing to me and for me, right? What it was doing to me and for me, I was able to use it to my advantage. And I said, wow, man, when things don't go the way you want, okay, it's cool. You've been in worse. And you know that when you go through the storm, when you come out of it, it looks better. So now it looked better. You thought it was going to stay like that. You crashed again, right? So then the next time coming out, I said, oh, okay, now it's good. Let me embrace. Let me stack as much as I can because it's going to get bad again. It's not going to be this good all the time. It's going to go down again, right? And when it does, I'm going to be ready this time. So most people look at bad environments and bad situations and they let that take a hold of their life. I'm looking at it and I'm saying, man, I'm staying in the growth mindset. What can I learn from these bad experiences that will help me to grow and develop to be a better me? And then what part of me is in a fixed mindset that's causing this hole to become deeper and deeper and deeper and make my life seem darker than what it really needs to be. And when you figure that out, you'll never let people into your life that only make it darker. You will let people in your life that have a light that shines so you can shine together. All right? Listen, man, I hope that was beneficial. I hoped it helped you, right? If it did, cool. If it didn't, listen, man, let me know why. Let me know what part you're struggling with, all right? I'll see y'all tomorrow. Remember, we're here every day, same time. We will not stop, Monday through Friday. I'm going to share this game with you, all right? It's up to you to use the game and do something with it, all right? Nobody else can do that for you.